January 4th, Jackson County Commission work session to order. Have a roll call.
Mr. 1, Mr. Duffy.
Present.
2, Mr. Benson.
Present.
Mr. 3, Mr. Miller. Mr. 4, Mr. Little.
Present.
Chair Lawson, present.
Okay, have a quorum present. Have our invocation by Mr. Porter and the pledge by Mr. Miller.
God, our Father in heaven, we're blessed again to be here today. We're so thankful that you have seen us through the year 2015. We thank you for getting us through the bad weather we had, the flooding and the terrible rains and the storms. God, we're thankful for that. We pray that you'll be with us and guide us through 2016. Watch over and guide all the members of the commission and their families and all those that are here. Be with all those that live and reside in Jackson County. Continue to bless us with good things throughout the new year. In Christ's name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item, approval of the agenda. We have one item on the agenda. Any changes before we proceed? Have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Make a motion.
Motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. And opposed say no. For public comments, we have Mr. Gary Morgan signed up. Mr. Morgan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, members of the public. Did I give I think I gave all of y'all a copy of this memorandum to y'all. Basically, this is an ongoing issue that I've discussed before. This concerns regarding drug testing test procedures involving employees of Jackson County Commission. And you'll have in your packet several information documents here. I submitted a request to Jackson County Commission last month and for certain documents related to the employee drug testing program. And those documents were provided. Also submitted some questions that I had earlier. Actually, I think those questions were submitted at the end of November about the Jackson County drug testing program and the folks at Drug Testing Program Management, how they conduct their quality assurance program. Now, if you don't know this about me, of course, I'm retired military, but within the military service, my profession was that of healthcare management. So I know a little bit about quality assurance of healthcare issues and drug testing quality assurance. And in this package, I have I basically outline on the front page for you what the concern is, and then there's basically 4 enclosures supporting documentation. Some of these enclosures are multiple pages. But just to cut to the chase here, in the Code of Alabama, 25.5-333, basically that stipulates, and that's back here on about enclosure 3, what the elements of the drug testing program are, and then right after that is 25.5-335, which stipulates specifically. Now, some laws in Alabama's got loopholes and there's questions, but in this particular law, it's very specific. There's not many loopholes. It outlines specifically what is required of drug testing programs and the reason you need them and all the prerequisites. On page 2 of that document, you'll find who may take samples in a drug testing. It's very specific about who may take it, and that's in paragraph 5A and B. Then on page 3 here of the document, of the law of the state of Alabama, it describes a laboratory's requirements. And this is important because in this description of the laboratory requirements, it mentions of course you have to have a necessary chain of custody, which is always important, but it stipulates what type of laboratory certification the lab must have to take initial sample of urine or blood or whatever it may be, saliva. And then it also covers if you have to have an additional test, what the certification's there. And I'm proposing to you and suggesting to you that maybe you ought to research who you're having your contract through, because In review of the questions that was submitted to Drug Testing Program Management, they do not meet the requirements of the law, which means y'all don't meet the requirements of the law. And so I also went ahead and contacted Johnny McCrary over at, with the Health Care Authority. Well, unfortunately, I didn't know Johnny was retiring. I was reading on his Facebook post this weekend, Johnny's retired, and I'm supposed to have an appointment with him a couple of days to go over to see what the requirements of that the hospital, if they meet the law. But I went to PR, the public relations people at the hospital, and they're not sure if they meet the requirements of the law, to tell you the truth. So this presents a problem, not only for y'all, but all public entities. You know, I could say the whole area, but I don't live in the whole area. I live in Jackson County, and as a concerned citizen, I care about what goes on in Jackson County. So I'm suggesting to you that you're not meeting the requirements of the law here as far as drug testing goes, and that I'm suggesting that you look at this and figure out how you can meet the requirements of the law. I don't believe in, talking to Mr. Hodges and other people within the personnel realm, there's been any issues recently. There have been issues in the past I'm aware of, but not recently where this might become an issue legally for the Jackson County Commission. I also think that it's rather interesting, of course I've brought up to you before about concerns with community corrections and court referral, that actually the requirements of employee drug testing is more stringent than the requirements as stipulated in the Alabama Office of the Courts, which more or less leave it up to the judges to make decisions on what the parameters of the drug testing will be, which I thought was rather interesting. But nonetheless, that's not the issue right here. That's a separate issue. I would ask you to consider this that's presented to you, and I know y'all will make the right choice. But once again, in summary, the folks over across the street there are not meeting the prerequisites of law, and which means y'all aren't meeting the requirements of the law. Thank you. If there's any questions, here I am.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a look at this and follow up as necessary.
Thank you.
Move on to our agenda items. One and only item we have is the positions of the Public Works Department. We have a letter of request from the engineer regarding, I think there were 2 positions vacated recently with dismissals from the Public Works Department. This is to fill one of these positions, is that correct?
Yes, sir. The H&T 1 classification.
And what do you want to say on that, Mr. Simmons?
The letter should detail the request. Also attached is the job description, which we have minor revisions noted on the job description. So I just ask that you take a look at the letter that will detail the request as far as the filling the HMT 1 vacancy, and then the job description changes we've made. If you see anything else between now and the next meeting, we can get those changes made, and I'll also ask Michelle to do the same. And checking the job description provisions.
You've got the request here for a temporary position to take on full-time, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And with the other position, the plan would be to open that or leave that available right now?
Yeah. So currently there's a HMT 3 vacant and an HMT 1. This request is to fill the one with that temporary employee that served 2 different temporary tenures, and he's a current employee now. He's proven his experience, job performance, and the certification make him an asset to fill that one position. So if approved, we'll proceed that way, and then fill the 2. Fill the 3, sorry, which will likely come from 2, fill the 2, which will free up a 1. And then we will make further requests on applications and et cetera to fill that 1 position.
Questions or comments?
Does this get our workforce back to what it was when we passed our 2016 budget.
We're staying consistent with the approved org chart.
You'll be
So-
one short, if we move this position, we'll still be one short.
After
The
that.
Right.
the new baseline, which is, as you all know, is well reduced from original numbers, but the org chart approval, the reset of the baseline, that we're staying consistent with the two positions.
Adding this other characteristic item that's down here, the CDL obtaining it within the probationary period.
Yes, sir.
Are we providing them a way to get this certification, or are they on their own?
Where there's multiple steps, I think, that we need to move. We're in need of Class A CDL drivers, and we're also in need of tanker endorsements of both of those. So the way I see it, we have a couple of options. We can require that, or we can offer an incentive to obtain that. Right now, the Class B, there were no CDL requirements in the job description. So in order to operate equipment out there, you at least need a CDL. And to operate trucks and things of that nature, you at least need a CDL-B. So there's nothing as far as the ability to require that. The gentleman for appointment is a license holder for a Class A CDL. He has a Class A CDL. He can operate anything we have out there. In the future, what I'd like to visit is offering some incentive for the folks that there's very few A's, there's more B's. If we can offer an incentive for those employees to get an A with a tanker endorsement, perhaps we pay for the CDL and we pay their renewal each year and offer this incentive for them to go take this, do it, and get an A, then it would cover more bases for us. Right now, the majority has B's, or if they're in a lower classification, such as laborer, they don't have a CDL.
I'd like to see us institute a way for these folks to garner the knowledge they need to require this. Or if there's a way we can do it. Like Jason had spoke about this before also.
You talking about like practicing with them
Yes,
before they take their
yes,
exam,
give
back
them
in,
a
things
way
of that nature?
to help them obtain this.
Absolutely.
While they're out there.
Yeah, it's in our best interest for these employees to be Class A CDL with tanker endorsement based on our operations we need them to do. So, I agree.
Any other questions or comments? Anything else, Mr. Campbell? There's no objection, then we'll place this on the agenda next week. Concludes the items on our agenda. Move on to our reports. Mr. Manning? Nothing. Mr. Porter?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Campbell?
The only thing I have is my understanding that first of the year we can go ahead and go back to full strength on deputies. Obviously, it's going to take us a while to get some through the academy. So we're looking for 3 now with Billy being gone.
Mr. Miller?
No, sir.
Mr. Goodman? Mr. Rutland?
No, sir.
No, sir.
I think that concludes, my brain stopped working. I think that concludes everything, so we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.